Life isn't fair, and that's not the tragedy. We grow up hearing a simple promise. If you work hard, life will reward you fairly. It's comforting. It's also not the whole truth. Two people can have the same curiosity, the same ambition, the same drive, and start at the same starting line. But their path forward can be very different. Some find smoother roads, guided by support, mentorship, or resources. Others encounter obstacles that make even the smallest step feel like a challenge. Both may work equally hard, but the journey isn't equally easy. This isn't pessimism, it is reality. And for students especially, these differences becomes visible very quickly. We see it in classrooms, in competitions, in opportunities. Sometimes you try your best and watch someone else advance faster. Sometimes you work relentlessly and still fall short. That experience can feel unfair, and therefore frustrating. But recognizing these differences is the beginning of insight, not the end of hope. Many of us grow up believing fairness is inherent. But fairness isn't inherent. Fairness is something societies attempt to construct, and like any human systems, it's flawed. Schools reward certain types of intelligence, competition rewards certain personalities. Opportunities often depends on the guidance, exposures, or expectations, things not everyone has access to. When we tell young people that success is only about effort, we unintentionally create harm. Because when someone fails, they may assume failure reflects their worth. But effort alone cannot erase unequal path. Understanding this reality is uncomfortable, yet it unlocks power. When you stop expecting the world to be perfectly fair, you begin focusing on what you can control. Bill Gates once said, "Life is unfair, get used to it." At first that sounds harsh, but unfairness, frustrating as it is, reveals something valuable. It shows what cannot be taken from you. Some grow up without financial stability but develop resilience. Some are underestimated repeatedly but learn persistence. Some face obstacles that force creativity in ways others can never experience. Research by psychologist Angela Duckworth confirms this. Traits like perseverance, self-discipline, and resilience often predict long-term success more reliably than talent or raw intelligence. Unfairness doesn't erase potential. It tests how people respond when things are difficult. One of the most damaging beliefs is thinking failure defines us. But failure is not a verdict. Failure is information. Every setback contains data. Every rejection offers feedback. Every obstacle forces adaptation. Take Thomas Edison, who tested thousands of unsuccessful designs before inventing the light bulb. Imagine the moment after attempt 9,999. A table covered in failed prototypes, another long day of experiments that didn't work, and another reason to quit. And imagine if he had stopped. The invention that changed how the world uses light might have never existed. But instead, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What looked like failure was actually a progress. Walt Disney experienced something similar. Early in his career, he was fired because an editor believed he had no imagination. Imagine hearing that. Imagine believing one rejection defined your ability. If Disney had taken that judgment as truth, the worlds and characters that shaped millions of people's imagination might have never existed. Here in Canada, Terry Fox faced a challenge far greater than rejection. After losing his leg from cancer, he decided to run across the country to raise money for cancer research. Think about the moment before his journey began. The pain, the doubt, the sheer impossibility. And imagine if he had stopped before taking the first step. The marathon of hope might have never inspired millions. Sometimes the difference between giving up and changing the world is a single decision. The decision to keep going. The people who accomplish extraordinary things are not those who avoided failure. They are those who treat failure as information. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? They ask, what can this teach me? Here's the truth. You cannot control whether life is fair, but you can control how you respond to it. Agency grows slowly, quietly, through repeated action. It grows when someone keeps improving instead of giving up. It grows when setbacks becomes direction instead of defeat. It grows when effort becomes a habit. Acknowledging the world's uneven path is not a weakness. It is realism. And realism allows you to build strength instead of waiting for perfect condition. We often measure success by using visible outcomes, grades, awards, recognition. But those outcomes rarely tell the whole story. Behind every success is a long series of invisible attempts. Moments when someone doubted themselves, moments when giving up would have been easier. The people who rise are rarely those who avoided being difficulty. They are those who continued despite it. Success is less about talent, it is more about persistence. Dig in, claim your growth. Life may never be perfectly fair, but fairness is not what defines a meaningful life. Growth does, resilience does, courage does. The people who rise are not always the luckiest. They're not always the most protected. They are those who refuse to let uneven path determine their future. They turn rejection into refinement. They turn setbacks into structure. They turn adversity into strength. So, when the world disappoints you, and it will, remember this. Failure is not the end of your story. Failure is often where the most important part of your story began. Thank you for listening.